The House of Atreus is a famous Greek mythological lineage known for its tragic and cursed history. Atreus, the patriarch of the house, was the son of Pelops and Hippodamia. The story of the House of Atreus is characterized by revenge killings, betrayals, and familial curses. The torment of Tantalus.
In Greek mythology, Tantalus was a figure known for his punishment in the underworld and for committing grave offenses against the gods. His story serves as a cautionary tale about the consequences of complacency and disrespecting divine powers. Tantalus was the son of Zeus, the king of the gods, and the nymph Pluto. He was granted special privileges and was invited to dine with the gods on Mount Olympus. However, Tantalus abused this privilege by committing acts of betrayal and sacrilege. One time, he stole some nectar and ambrosia from the god's table. Ambrosia and nectar are foods that confer immortality, and thus are only exclusive to be consumed by gods. The gods knew all his treacherous actions, including how he gossiped and spread to people the conversation of the gods that he heard from dining with them. Despite of it all, the gods still let him be because they adore him. In desperate hope of pleasing the gods, one of Tantalus' most infamous deeds was serving his own son, Pelops, as a meal to the gods during a feast. This horrific act was an attempt to test the omniscience of the gods, but it only brought down their wrath upon him. The gods were deeply angered by Tantalus' actions and punished him severely. Tantalus was condemned to eternal torment in the underworld, the Tartarus, where he suffered a unique punishment. He was placed in a pool of water up to his chin, with luscious fruit hanging from trees just above him. Whenever Tantalus tried to drink from the water or reach for the fruit, they would recede out of his reach, leaving him perpetually hungry and thirsty. Meanwhile, the gods decided to resurrect Pelops and make him more beautiful. However, one of his shoulders was missing as it was unknowingly devoured by goddess Demeter. Zeus then asked Hephaestus to create an ivory shoulder for his grandson and made him king of Peloponnese. Pelops fell in love with Hippodamia, the daughter of King Oenomaus of Pisa, and wanted to marry her. However, Oenomaus had a grim tradition. He would only allow the man who could defeat him in a chariot race to marry his daughter. To ensure his success, Oenomaus would kill each suitor after defeating him. Pelops, determined to win Hippodamia's hand, sought the help of the god Poseidon. Poseidon provided Pelops with a divine chariot and a team of winged horses. With this advantage, Pelops entered the race against Oenomaus. During the race, Pelops' charioteer Myrtilus secretly removed the linch beams from Oenomaus' chariot, causing it to collapse, and Oenomaus was killed. Pelops won the race and married Hippodamia. However, the story doesn't end happily. Pelops later betrayed Myrtilus, who cursed Pelops and his descendants. This curse plagued Pelops' family, the House of Atreus, leading to a series of tragic events, including the infamous tale of Agamemnon, Clytemnestra, and their children, and as well as the Trojan War. Trivia. The term tantalize originates from Tantalus' name, reflecting the idea of something desirable being just out of reach, as he experienced with water and fruit in the underworld.
Niobe, the proud queen who compared herself to the gods.
Niobe was the daughter of Tantalus. Niobe herself married Amphion, the king of Thebes, and together they had a total of 14 children, 7 sons and 7 daughters. Niobe was exceedingly proud of her large family and boasted that she was superior to the goddess Leto, who was the mother of Apollo and Artemis, because she had more children than her. This arrogance and disrespect towards the goddess angered Apollo and Artemis, who were very protective of their mother. In retaliation for Niobe's pride, Apollo and Artemis descended from Mount Olympus and unleashed their wrath upon Niobe's family. Apollo, the god of archery, shot arrows that killed all of Niobe's sons, while Artemis, the goddess of the hunt, killed her daughters. Niobe was devastated by the loss of her children and was left utterly bereft. In her grief, she fled to the mountains and begged the gods for mercy, but they were unmoved by her pleas. Eventually, Niobe's anguish became so overwhelming that she turned to stone, and according to the myth, her tears continued to flow eternally. Moral of Tantalus and Niobe's stories. In essence, both stories caution against the dangers of arrogance, pride, and hubris or over self-confidence. They warn individuals against defying the natural order or challenging the authority of the gods, emphasizing the importance of humility, respect, and moderation.
Agamemnon and his children.
The story of Agamemnon and his children is marked by betrayal, revenge, and the consequences of actions taken by the family members. Agamemnon and Clytemnestra had children, consisting of a son named Orestes and 3 daughters called Iphigenia, Electra, and Chrysothemis. The tension of the story arose when Agamemnon, the king of Mycenae and the leader of the Greek forces during the Trojan War, is required to sacrifice Iphigenia to appease the goddess Artemis, either because he offended the goddess or to ensure favorable winds for the Greek fleet sailing to Troy. The sacrifice of Iphigenia becomes a pivotal event in Agamemnon's life and the subsequent events of his family. Clytemnestra, enraged by the sacrifice of her daughter, conspires with her lover Aegisthus. Aegisthus is Agamemnon's cousin. He conspires with him to murder Agamemnon upon his return from the Trojan War. After the war's conclusion, Agamemnon returned to Mycenae with the Trojan princess Cassandra as his concubine, further angering Clytemnestra. Upon his arrival, Agamemnon was slain, either in his bath or by being trapped in a net, depending on the version of the myth. Following Agamemnon's murder, Orestes is compelled by the god Apollo to avenge his father's death by killing Clytemnestra and Aegisthus. For this reason, Orestes becomes entangled in the web of familial bloodshed. torn between his duty to avenge his father and the horror of killing his own mother. Eventually, Orestes killed both Clytemnestra and Aegisthus, fulfilling the cycle of violence in the family. Moral of Agamemnon and his children's story. The story of Agamemnon is emblematic of the complexities and consequences of human ambition, pride, and the destructive forces within familial relationships.